But I'm going to be paying close attention as we transition to the next conversation into the ALCS round between the Toronto Blue Jays and Cleveland Indians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to this matchup big time. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I'm excited for it because one, you got the same matchup you had in the Eastern Conference Finals for the NBA playoffs.
Oh, look at that!
You got the Toronto Raptors and Cleveland Cavaliers. You got the Cleveland Indians and Toronto Blue Jays, and these are two teams that when I did the ALDS preview, I look like a fucking moron because I picked the Rangers I think in 4 and I picked the Red Sox in 4.
I don't blame you.
And obviously both teams swept, which is surprising because the Indians kind of needed that with Kluber kind of being iffy with his injury, and you needed that just because Toronto, they're such a pretty much do or die team where it's you're going to live and die by the long ball, and they obviously thrive from that. And then you obviously you have your time to rest up your starters so that they can go pretty deep. And obviously this rotation's been good. But yeah, no, I'm excited for it.
I'm looking forward to this so much, very much so. I look at the Cleveland Indians.
Well, you're half an Indians fan,
and they're my team in the American League. I'm going to be flat out honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of the Indians for I don't know how long, and I don't know why. I just do. Mm-hmm. Even though, whatever, we're not going to get into that conversation. Even though, blah. Yeah. But I'm just saying it's related to their mascot. But I'm just saying, you look at the starting rotation, right? They lost Danny Salazar, who isn't going to be available in the ALCS. You lost Carlos Carrasco, your two best pitchers, better than Kluber this season, and yet here they are. They rely on guys like Trevor Bauer, Josh Tomlin, Mike Clevenger. Clevenger pitched very well. Bauer was huge in game 1.
Kluber was great.
And Kluber stepped in game 2. I really am digging this Indians team right now. Their lineup is coming up with timely hitting. And on the other side, you look at the Toronto Blue Jays, and you know what? This rotation is legitimate. You have to look at J.A. Happ, the consistencies with him, but Aaron Sanchez looks like the most dominating pitcher in the league right now.
He's ridiculously good. And one thing as well that kind of steps up too is, I mean, he wasn't great in his first start. I mean, he wasn't fantastic, giving up 6 runs. But even Estrada was good in 8 and a third. Even Marcus Stroman was good. Sanchez was really your worst pitcher in the postseason, and I think that's a good sign because how good he was in the regular season. That it's most likely that he's going to bounce back. I mean, I look at this and it makes the Blue Jays so much dangerous just because you look at their lineup and how good their lineup is, and that Donaldson looks like he's finally coming back.
Hitter. He's the best hitter in the playoffs right now. Yeah,
finally coming back around because he did kind of a down season after his MVP season. Edward Encarnacion's just hitting
Encarnacion and Bautista together.
He's hitting the skin off the ball.
It's unreal.
And Tulo's looking like he's bouncing back too as well. I mean, it looks ridiculous. I mean, the Blue Jays look absolutely dangerous, but the one thing about the Indians is that they're just consistently good, and that the Indians are just a well-rounded team where the Blue Jays do thrive off of
that
going
offensive
deep.
Production. And you gotta, like we mentioned, Aaron Sanchez, Marco Estrada, and Marcus Stroman, J.A. Happ even.
They drove 25 runs in 4 games. That's not offensive production you can keep up.
Yeah, I'm looking at this bullpen though, and that's may be the difference in the series between the Indians and the Blue Jays, because Cleveland, you can rely on guys like Shaw. Well, Shaw is like, I mean.
You have Andrew Miller, though.
And Andrew Miller. And that goes back to the Cubs conversation you have. You have the most dominant pitcher in the game. When do you put him in the game? Is it in the most stressful situation? That could be in the 6th inning. But we see Andrew Miller going out there and just shutting the door in consecutive outings and innings pitched. Then you have Cody Allen, Tomlin, Otero. I really like this Cleveland team. I really do. If I had to pick, and you know what? A guy who I'm looking at right now, a younger player who stepped up is Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, I was going to mention him too. Yeah, he's batting .500, right?
Jose Ramirez with is like a
1.3 something,
1.2 OPS. He's just absolutely killing it.
Yeah, even Kipnis too. I mean, their infielders.
Kipnis has been huge.
Yeah, their infielders have been huge, hitting wise, and it's surprising seeing a guy like Jose Ramirez step up and do this. Even though he did have a really nice regular season, it's still when a young guy like this does step up, I mean that's huge for a team. And the fact that he is just. He's not doing something that's unsustainable. I mean, he's just hitting the ball. It's like with Encarnacion, I think he has 3 homers for 7 runs batted in. I mean, that's something that's record pace, just insane what Encarnacion is doing. But with Jose Ramirez, he's taking walks here. He struck out only once. I mean, he's batting 500. He's got an on base of 583. I mean, he just looks like he's going to be able to get on base consistently for the Indians. That's a guy that I know he doesn't have the greatest amount of speed here, but still you can put him at this one spot and he can get on base for you. Then you can rely on a guy like Jason Kipnis. Weirdly enough, Lonnie Chisenhall, who's hitting fantastic for the Indians, to drive in a guy like Ramirez.
Absolutely. You look at this Cleveland team, and you're not getting much production from Carlos Santana. You're not getting much production from Mike Napoli, but these guys are stepping up, and you're getting a lot from the starting pitcher. And you know what? Terry Francona managed that Boston Red Sox team in 2004, and he won a World Series with them, obviously, and you have that veteran managerial presence in the postseason to keep these guys locked down. And the way he manages his staff in terms of pitching, it really is going to be the difference in this series, because how willing are you going to go to the bullpen early, as opposed to in Toronto, you really want to stretch out these starters and rely on these guys because you want to kind of stay away. I mean, Jason Grilli, that's the only guy really that I can see is kind of consistent like that.
And
lockdown.
Obviously Ozuna too, going down with an injury and him not being completely healthy. I mean, that's a big loss to that bullpen.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the series and I'm gonna give the edge to Cleveland right now.
No way.
I said going with Toronto.
I said it was insustainable, but I think it's gonna be insustainable until they get to the World Series. I think that the aura around Toronto right now, and even what Toronto's fans are bringing to the stage, and this pitching staff that was great, where your starting pitcher, your best starting pitcher in Aaron Sanchez was your worst starting pitcher in the playoffs. I think that he bounces back, and I think that the Blue Jays will have that kind of postseason magic that we're talking about, and that will take them to the World Series. I just look at this too. I mean, even Lindor, striking out 5 times, he doesn't look like he's going to be able to bounce back. But when your best hitters are hitting, and that's what the Toronto Blue Jays are doing, it's really hard to lose. And then when you have a great starters to rely on, I mean, it's going to be hard to put that away.
Yeah, it's what this Cleveland team has to overcome the Blue Jays offense. That's going to be it for this series. And the series begins Friday, October 14th in Cleveland. So, hey, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited because the winner will face the Chicago Cubs, and that's pretty much a foregone conclusion. There's no such thing as jinxes. Get the hell out of here. You're talking about an announcer calling a no-hitter, and he says he has no hits through 7 innings, and then Jake Arrieta throws a no-hitter. That's not jinxing him.
No. But saying he's going to throw a no-hitter and then him giving up a hit.
Well, no. I'm not saying that, but people are talking about jinxes all the time. It's like, oh, you can't mention, oh, you jinxed him. Oh, you said he was throwing a no-hitter, so he gave up a hit. It's your fault. It's like, are you serious? Like, there's no control over the outcome.
It's baseball, dude.
Yeah, it's baseball.
Baseball's weird.
That's baseball. I'm taking Cleveland in 6 games.
I will take Toronto in 6.
Okay.
I'll take Toronto in 6.
It'd be tough to win in I
think they'll take I'll take game 2. They'll take game 2 in Cleveland. They'll take the 2 at home. So then yeah.
I think it's 2.
Does it go 2-3-2?
I think that's the World Series, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm not sure how exactly.
What I'll say is they'll win one in Cleveland and then win 3 of the last 4.
Okay, that's fair.
I think they'll probably go on a 3-game winning streak.
I always get confused with the scheduling, and I probably should have looked this up. Is it 2-2-1-1-1, or is it 2-3-2? Because I know the World Series is 2-3-2.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, please do that. I'm gonna dance on stage.
All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
So, all right, I got Cleveland. You got Toronto. We're gonna revisit this topic when Cleveland wins. I'll just rub it in your face as I always do when I'm right.
Are you gonna rub it in my face? Do you want to put a bet on it?
No, we're not.
You usually don't want to put bets on stuff.
Yeah, because my luscious locks over here is usually the culprit.
2-3-2.
Okay.
2-3-2.
So there we go. The ALCS is.
I'll say it goes game 1 Indians, game 2 Blue Jays, game 3 Blue Jays, game 4 Indians, game 5 Blue Jays, and then game 6 Blue Jays.
Go Cubs, go! That's all I gotta say about that.
Lose.
It doesn't matter who they play.
They're gonna lose to the Nationals. They're gonna lose
all
to the
of this
Nationals.
is irrelevant.
Hey, dude, I said they're gonna lose to the Giants. I said they're gonna lose to the Mets. I said they're gonna lose to the Giants, and now I'm gonna say they lose to the Nationals.
You can keep saying that. That's
I'm
fine.
probably jinxing these teams.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyways.